Hi there, it's Alex here, and today we're going to be talking about Werewolf by Night, doing a little bit of a review slash quick thoughts video. Still working on that note video, just got a whole lot going on. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. When Marvel announced a few months ago that they'd be doing a special presentation event, I was very intrigued. We are very aware of the fact that there is a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special coming up next year, which also really has my attention. But this was kind of a different beast in its own, no pun intended, because we don't typically get this from the MCU. We used to have these little one-shot things that were tied to like Blu-rays, but we don't really get that anymore, so again, this really caught my attention. With that out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive right on into it. I'm gonna keep it spoiler light for this process, but basically, a bunch of monster hunters just coming together, fighting a little bit of each other, and fighting a monster, and there's a bloodstone involved. To break it down, I think that this is easily one of the most fun things that Marvel has done in quite a long time. It kind of reminds me how a couple years ago we got the Team Thor thing, which was like an add-on to Civil War. If anybody remembers Team Thor, put your hands up.
If you feel me, put your hands up.
I trust you. I got good judgment in you. I think that you're good and you can come over and play video games, but only if you ask. Unless I'm busy. That's another story. When the ending popped up and said directed by Michael Giacchino, my jaw dropped to the fucking floor as I thought this man was only capable of bringing us great music. Turns out he's not just capable of that. Please let him do other things in Hollywood. I would love to see what else he could come up with. You've also got writers attached like Heather Quinn and Peter Cameron. Heather Quinn did a little bit of work on Hawkeye, which is something that I really loved. I never really talked about Hawkeye, but Hawkeye has been one of my favorite Disney Plus shows. As much as I'm tired of the 6-hour stretched out movie format, Hawkeye really did actually work for me. It's the rare occurrence. Which brings me to another point that I will circle back to around later, but regarding everyone within this short, I do want to go ahead and talk about Laura Donnelly, who plays Elsa Bloodstone, who is the daughter of the man who has died that has brought everyone together. I also want to talk about Gail Garcia Bernal, who plays Jack Russell. These two are basically what I like to call our main leads in this little 40-minute short. The both of them are very charismatic and a whole lot of fun, even though we don't get much of them playing off one of each other. Because this runtime is very short and condensed, whenever these humorous moments happen, it's very far and in between, but also it does allow it to feel a bit more natural than it typically does in Marvel projects. I also gotta give it to Giacchino for setting up one hell of an atmosphere here. Using a black and white style is something that is very bold for an MCU property. There's a lot of stuff here that goes into the way that stuff is framed that really brings it back to that old-timey period for a bit, as well as its sound design. One of the most underrated things I think about this that I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about is its sound design. There's also tiny little Easter eggs like cue marks, which, people used to call like cigarette burns on frames. Stuff like that is a whole lot of fun. Now, this isn't really a spoiler, so what I'm about to say is not going to ruin your experience, I give you my word. But what I will say here is that it's very creative the way that this thing goes about its violence. It's pushing the envelope a bit more than most Marvel properties too. Here and there we've seen arms getting chopped off and stuff, but because this is shot in black and white, we're able to get away with a whole lot more because you're not able to see the color of red whenever there's blood. So you will see a couple of limbs here and there get flying off, and it's a little bit more in detail than you're used to seeing in the MCU, but it's only because you just can't see the blood, but you still know what's going on. It's kind of cool that we can actually do that with this little loophole, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. Not only that, but a couple of slices and dices that I didn't see coming that I was like, oh, we just saw that, cool. It's the kind of thing that I expected when you hear me say lower budget Marvel stuff. I think this is a creative way to go about it, and I'd totally be down to see more. As for these characters, like I said, I like Elsa and Jack. Do I think that they need to return? No. Would it be cool? Sure. But also, I like the idea of this being a standalone. I think it's quite the accomplishment and something that we don't really get from Marvel nowadays. And if they could just learn this lesson, not everything needs to tie into one another, I think that'd be a little cool stamp in the MCU. It's off in its own little bubble. And you can hint at it in other things, being like, hey, did you ever watch Werewolf by Night? This is a little nod to Werewolf by Night. Also, there is werewolf in the title. The werewolf scenes in this are really damn cool. They do not disappoint. Of course, the runtime here isn't that long, but when we get this cool scene, it's a really cool scene, and you're gonna love it. Before we jump into the final thoughts, I want to go ahead and get one thing off my chest. Speaking of runtimes, the reason I really loved this is because it's so short and condensed, and that's some issue that I'm having with a lot of other Disney Plus shows right now, especially with the Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus shows when I say that. My issue is that a lot of these just feel like stretched out 6-hour movies that more than often just lose my interest by the time we get to the finale. I barely finished Moon Knight, I didn't bother finishing Ms. Marvel, And the only reason I'm sticking with She-Hulk is because it actually feels like a TV show and not like a 6-hour movie. But these just have not been doing it for me. I'd love to see more specials than actual just stretched movies. Anyways, I just wanted to say that real quick. Something I really appreciated. But anyways, I had a fun time with Werewolf by Night. I think that you should go check it out if it's on your list. If you've seen it, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've seen it, please let me know what your favorite thing about it was in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Ring that little bell icon if you have the time. I'd really appreciate it. Gonna go back to working on my video for Nope soon. Anyways, if you're still here, don't forget to have a fantastic day, and Alex out.